In this lesson, we're going to be looking at spheres. Our objectives are: understand volume formula of a sphere, understand surface area formula of a sphere, and we're also going to look at parts of spheres, especially for the surface area. Our vocabulary: sphere, hemisphere, great circle, and in case you need refreshers on them, volume and surface area. First thing we're going to look at is the volume of a sphere. What I have here, and I know my picture is not very great, but if you look in your book, and I'll show you this picture, they've got a good picture of this in the book. What I've got is I have a cylinder with a sphere that fits perfectly in it. It touches the edges, and it goes from top to bottom, touching the top and bottom. So what we have here is we have the radius of the circle of the circle part of the cylinder and of the sphere being the same thing. Well, we also need to know the height. Well, the radius goes up and down also for a sphere. So the radius is from the middle. That would be the radius there, meaning that we have a radius going down also, meaning our height is actually the diameter, 2 radii, or 2 radii. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the fact that it's 2/3 of a cylinder to figure out the volume of a sphere. Well, the formula for cylinder is base times height, and the area of the base is r squared pi, and the height is 2r, and then we're going to multiply that by 2/3 in front of it. So now we just have to rearrange things. So this is going to be 2 over 1, so the numbers are 2/3 and 2 over 1. That's going to give me 4 over 3. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 1 is 3, so we've got 4/3 there. Our r's, we've got r squared and r, that's going to become r cubed, and then we have a pi. So we get 4/3 r cubed pi. Some people like to write it 4r cubed pi over 3. So that's the volume of a sphere. If we want a hemisphere, we would just take this times 1/2, and then we would just reduce some fractions and such. Last thing that we want to look at is surface area. And so what we're first going to talk about is a sphere. Again, not the greatest picture. Then we're going to talk about a hemisphere. What I've got is I've already got the formula for the surface area of a sphere here. It's 4r squared pi. In class we're going to look at exactly why it's 4r squared pi. I'm not going to take you through that right now. A hemisphere, well, a hemisphere is half of a sphere, so if we just cut this in half, or divide by 2, we're going to get 2r squared pi for our surface area. And then we have our hemisphere and great circle. Well, we've got a hemisphere, so 2r squared pi. And then we have this big circle. Well, the radius is still going to be r, and the radius of a circle, or the area of a circle, is r squared pi. So the and just mean we're going to add it on. So we've got this basic problem. Well, if you notice, r squared, pi, pi, these are like terms. This one has a 1 in front of it. So really it's just 3r squared pi for the hemisphere and great circle. When you think about the great circle, think of a bowl and the lid that goes on top of that bowl. So you've got your hemisphere bowl and then a lid that goes on top. So we want the surface area of the outside of the bowl plus the lid covering it before we put it into the refrigerator. So this is surface area. We've gone over volume. If there are any questions or things that you missed in this video, make sure you pause, rewind, and rewatch, and bring any questions to class. Thank you.